Evening, good people of the interwebs. I'm, of course, the Tenkaichi of gaming, and again, welcome to my desktop. If you haven't realized what this is, yes, this is from Dragon's Dogma. I believe it's from Dark Arisen, or just regular Dragon's Dogma. Yeah, that's why I changed my desktop from Macros to Dragon's Dogma, because I have a thing for medieval fantasy and such. Besides Japanese and feudal times, the same with Chinese, I like to ponder upon medieval. But that's not the point why I'm talking, or why this video is being played. I'm actually going to do something that I've done before, but haven't done in a while because I've been so flippin' busy, or tired, or whatever the fuck I feel like I'm dealing with. How to begin? Well, let's see. Oh, well, I'm going to start with last week, because I've spoken about a bit of it some time back, and really I should talk about it in full detail about how I've been feeling and what's been on my mind since. And honestly, you know, the stuff I've been going through, it's a thing. For the last days, I've lost basically some time and whatnot. I have simply just been tired and stressed out. I've listened to a Glowing not too long ago by Big, and I feel for him. I really do. I really feel for him. So, mainly I've been exhausted. The last couple of days I've just been exhausted. Recently, what we did was we took our old cable boxes down, because half of our cable boxes are fairly new. So what we did was my cousin unhooked her cable box and brought it to the living room, and I did the same yesterday. And I'm explaining why I've been so tired as of late. And namely what's been going on, but that really took a lot out of me. I mean, yesterday took a lot out of me. So much that I basically just, after I finished Great Greed, I basically just passed out. I passed out all day. I didn't get up. I just basically just like, just like that. I'm not saying that I'm not saying that I was grateful that I'd beaten the game, but stuff I had to go through in order to get where I am to this point in time, it's been hectic. So, namely what's been going on during the last days that happened when I was offline, I went into a depression. I really did. It's not because of me just being able to be online, but I just basically went into depression. Depression is a nasty thing. It's worse than stress. Because often than not, stress can build up, but depression in itself can just stop you from what you enjoy doing. So the last couple of days, basically was just off. I was, in my area and my net was down. Everyone's net was down. Or rather, everyone's cable box was off. And the silly thing was, and for those who don't know, the silly thing was, it was about some people getting free cable, while the rest of us had to basically, pay for our cable on a monthly or quarterly basis. And it was just a thing. I can understand why Time Warner did what it did, but I wish they had let us know, sooner. But the good thing was they did apologize. They made a public apology online, saying that they really had to apologize for the inconvenience on their part. And on top of that, well, a good thing also happened. A few weeks back, they also had a thing out for CBS. Now, CBS owned Showtime. So therefore, if CBS was gone, so did CBS Sports and Showtime. They wanted more money. That's what it's about. So TWC once again worked on negotiations, and CBS seems okay with it. And yes, lots of things been going on. I've been trying to take my mind off. Those last couple days that when I was offline. I basically just try to take my mind away from me not being online. I am sort of dependent online because, well, because of my projects, I need to be on my computer. Because really, just because I need to have something to work on after hours, because during prime time, I'm usually with my friends. And with that said, from 8 to say 12 or sooner, like say 6 to 12, they're around, and before that, after that, they've gone their separate ways, most likely to bed, and I have the entire morning to myself. And sometimes this is what I do in the mornings, mainly work on what I've been doing, namely my novel and or my Let's Plays. I really couldn't do that last week because I was that depressed. And it's a bad thing for me to be depressed, because if I don't do anything I'm just going to be like face down asleep. And when I'm depressed, I do sleep. But there are things I've done. There are things I've done to fight off depression, as well as stress. One of the two things that I've actually did, and while I was listening to Big's Glog earlier, was I cooked. I cooked something and made something to eat because, to be honest, yesterday I was so worn out I didn't eat anything all day. And that usually happens to me because, you know, whenever I'm out, I'm usually busy. And what I did yesterday was swap out the old boxes for the new ones. And, of course, it takes a full 24 hours to get all the channels back to where they were. Now, what usually happens is about what happens is after you boot up the box, then after the box is booted up, then, you know, little by little channels will just pop on. That's what I've been kind of doing yesterday. Just been seeing if certain channels just popped on, and they did. Local channels popped on, and some cable channels the next day. So, like, I mean, I'm not really worried about, you know, missing shows because they're all old shows, and sometimes I don't miss. I mean, sometimes I don't really watch them because, you know, like, it's an old show. Yeah, I know. I'm just doing this while I'm doing this. And this is something I usually do when I feel kind of depressed or stressed out. And yes, I have been feeling stressed out. Because remember the three whole days I've been down, you know, I just had to play catch up with what happened. A lot of things can happen. And, you know, before my area was knocked out, you know, things happened. Like, there have been some high points and low points within the group. One of the many low points in the group, and I'm going to focus on the low points more than the high points because they're worth talking about than the high points, suffice to say. Now, as of late, the following happened. Okay, what happened was Sheena's grandfather finally passed away, but he was sick thanks to stage 4 lung cancer. What I did, and I'm still doing this, by the way, is I'm actually playing a game in which she says it will probably cause me to cry. And the name of the game is called To the Moon. I like it because it's a story-driven type of game. It's not an RPG, but it does have puzzle elements to it. And I've been playing the game ever since, but I really haven't gotten any time to it. And let me do this while I'm actually doing that. And what I just did was I just marked Great Greed off my my project list. So that means I have 5 games left to do and 4 sides too, and 4 sides as well. But back to what I was saying before. I'm still doing To the Moon on behalf of what happened to her. So therefore, I'm trying to devote time to my LPs as well as other LPs that are requested and or otherwise. Like, Great Greed was a requested LP. It was a requested LP, and, you know, since Ryu did it, he did say, you know, it'd be funny for me to do this game. And I did do the game, so therefore, as per requested, I finished Great Greed, which was, you know, yesterday morning. And so, I've been doing that ever since. So, basically, I'm doing games that, you know, everybody else likes, or, you know, people want me to do. And, you know, Breath of Fire is another requested game, because, you know, it was Ryu's birthday that I actually did start the LP, but I really haven't gone through it, or, like, really dig into it, because, you know, everything else was going. We had RCO videos we were doing, you know, because, you know, during the night we were just, you know, sitting around talking on Skype, played a game, made some progress as a group, and, you know, Borderlands, Left 4 Dead, and, you know, the latest we just finished was Castle Crashers. I mean, there have been many games that we've done and finished as a group. Another one that we finished as a group was Dungeons and Dragons Chronicles of Mystara. And that was it was a good job. We had fun on both counts, and, it was one of those times that, you know, we synced as a group. Or rather, one of the main times we synced as a group. Another kind of game that we went through, but we just didn't. We just kind of lost the drive for it, was Guns of Icarus Online. It's a bad game, but it's the fact that it was just that. It was a trying game, to which some people rage quit on it, or some people just cheated on it. I don't know. But we just said, nah, we're not going to try it. So, technically, that's why when it's that time, between 6 to 8, and I usually get on around 7-ish or 8, 7, 8, spend my time with my friends and whatnot, just so, we get off on a good note, try to help each other out and whatnot, and I believe that's that. I'm pretty sure Sheena is still getting over the whole thing about what happened last week. And again, yeah, my condolences. I hope things are much better now as they were when you were suffering with this affliction. So, another thing that also happened recently is that Big has been suffering a bit because of what's been going on in his family. And of course, what's been going on with his family is he's trying to keep balance by holding his job and dealing with his family. Now, from what I heard, his sister had pneumonia over the course of last week because they didn't get their she didn't get her medicine in time, and I know because my mom is kind of like that. Although her medicine is totally different, but I understand how it is because my mom takes medicine as well. But it's usually to, stabilize her for 12 hours because she has to take it twice when she gets up. One when she gets up and the other when she goes to bed. And earlier, my mom was kind of wobbly because I don't know. It was probably because she was tired, or the fact, most likely she was tired. Of course, my mom had suffered a heart attack, or rather a stroke. Yeah, it was more like a stroke than a heart attack. So therefore, her left side is frail and I honestly had to constantly keep my ear to the grindstone, as it were. But I totally understand how Big feels right now. He feels conflicted, stressed out, doesn't know what to do. I'm pretty sure enraged is in that category. And I'm sorry if I'm not really typing as much like you usually see me type, but I had to say what was on how I felt about the situation at hand. And of course, Ryu is still looking for a stable job, although he did come from a job, and things are going good with him. He's still looking for a stable job, and I think those are the big three right now that are going on that I really have nothing to say at this point. I mean, that are just lingering in my mind and really having nothing to say at this point. However, I feel for these guys because they're my people. They come to me whenever they have problems or they just want to talk or whatever. And, I make myself known to be available. I remember last week, or this week, probably this week, I was being goaded, or rather, yeah, I guess I was being goaded, wondering why my character is so weak. And I'm talking about Borderlands, mind you. And, you probably want to know why I chose Marka. The thing is, he's somewhat like me. It's like, I'm weak in a way, but strong in another way. I may not be the strongest guy in the group, but I'm also not the weakest guy in the group. I'm just in the middle. But the thing I have backed up is, I have a lot of determination. I have a lot of heart. I can try to play catch up with the best of them. I can hold my own regardless if I fall or not. And that's the one thing that people just don't know about me, is that I can actually hold my own in times of need. I have actually held my own plenty of times. I had to tell people off plenty of times. I do what I do, and how I do what I do, and how I play my games. That's on me because I don't like to stress myself out. That's the reason why I do what I do. the things I do in my game, sometimes I just don't want to go through stressing myself out because I got enough to deal with offline. My family is the one thing that kind of stressed me out the most. They stress me out to no ends. And I'm pretty sure that they probably say, I heard what you said. Yeah, you heard what I said, but can you comprehend what I just said? Do you understand how I feel? I've been a sickly person ever since I was a kid. I had cerebral palsy. And, you know, for those who don't know, that's the reason why. I have cerebral palsy. And you know how many, and you know the doctors even told me I couldn't even hold a thought when I was a kid. I didn't have cerebral palsy, but it just happened. You know, it just happened after a freak accident while I was sleeping. And of course, you know, I didn't, you know, I was a kid. I didn't know what the hell happened, so. And it's really hard, you know. I mean, it's hard to be who you are, you know. For me, it's difficult. It's difficult for me to live the way I live and do what I do. I'm an artist who, you know, I'm trying my best to actually make some kind of capital for myself. Not only as my name in the market, my actual name, not just my pen name, but my actual name is in the market. But my pen name is in the market too. I mean, that's a good thing. I have done something that probably no other LPer has gone and done, and that is basically put your name out on the market. I mean, the actual market, not do a Kickstarter or something like that. But Kickstarter's a good idea. But still, that's what I've done so far. And you know, my family kind of proud of me. And then after all the accolades, it's back to work again, like what I'm doing right now. I'm pretty sure that, you know, I'm pretty sure that as I am doing this, and mind you, my mind is actually making up the story much faster than I'm actually typing it down. And yeah, I'm doing this because, you know, unfortunate. Yeah, I know I'm gonna get somewhere about that. I don't care. What are you saying? What are you saying? No spelling suggested. Hold on, I just spelled it up. Spelled it right and I spelled it right. When I'm like this, my mind is usually like it's going like through this and through that, and my mind is constantly thinking of how to say this better. That's how I usually am with my novels. I usually just go through the ropes and just say, well, you know, you spelled it wrong. And apparently, my spell check is not saying, oh. My spell checker is telling me otherwise. Thank you. So, yeah, a lot has been on my mind. And the last couple of days I've been trying to basically mentally catch up with everything. My LPs are one thing, but, you know, things that I've been doing or things that have been sitting on my mind, I've just been trying to, like, make sense of it all. Usually I'm like, okay. Normally I don't, normally with my friends, we shoot the breeze, bullshit, and all that stuff like that there. I, for one, I've just been like, on my own time, been trying to catch up with everything. And one thing that my family don't know, or when they say, "Oh, I heard what you said." Why'd you tell that? Or why'd you say that? Because it's sitting on my mind, and when it is, it's gonna happen. And I have to say it because otherwise, nobody will actually know what is on my mind. And I'm probably not going to get anything out of this, like comment-wise or whatever. And if I do, that's good. But usually I'm just mainly talking straight from the back burner on my head, not the forefront. I always talk from the back burner. Usually, from this case, I'm just doing this. But most people just don't know that usually I'm just usually that's what it is with me. I listen more than talk. Because people when usually they meet me, they have a lot to say and a lot to talk about. And I'm usually the one nodding my head and saying, okay, yeah, right, and my head and back, and in my mind I'm going like, lots of things I could do right now, blah, 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 blah. You know, that's how my head is going. Usually, I just think, I'm, no offense, but you bore me. Some people on Facebook are like that. Some people, when they talk to me on Facebook, and that's rarely, they talk to me only to say, oh, I got an idea. Yeah. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, that's me. That's them. Yeah, and my eyes are like. Part of me is like going to sleep just listening to this babble. And it's just one guy, one guy just telling me his ideas and whatnot. Or somebody saying, oh, I've been looking for this, could you help me? Say, well, I can try, but, I don't really have anything more to say. I'm just listening to you. The thing is, that's how I am. It's like, don't see it as the wrong way, but, I listen to problems more than for me to help solve them. And yes, I'm like that, But like I said, I got a lot of stuff just going off in my head, just a lot of things that I need to really voice my thoughts about. So I have to basically just do that. Not that it's not boring, but I really have to. Because it's just been like from how I'm feeling right now, my head's like it's just like how should I say this? It's like a ticking time bomb, really. A ticking time bomb that I don't say what I had to say, my mind is going to fucking blow up. So, namely, that's how it was with me. That's how I feel And that's how I'm going to stick with it. Now I heard some things that that were in the last vlog I listened to, and like I said, I had to share my opinions about it. First off, I can't help it if I suck as a gamer. Sometimes I suck as a gamer. It happens. I don't know what it is. It just like I didn't know we were judging people about how you play a game. Sometimes I'm not that good at certain games. That's what people need to understand. It's like sometimes, listen to what I'm saying. I like playing certain games because I'm good at them. If I'm not good at them, you will see. Or I will tell you, I'm not good at this. And it goes back to my family. Because everything that I experience online or listen to online or perhaps even in reality, it all comes back to my family. Because usually they're the people that give me the most stress and drama, and I'm feeling my right arm being stiff as I don't know what. I don't know why. And I'm really feeling the muscle too. It's like right there I feel like a real big knot. Yeah, I feel like sometimes I'm just there just to be like a convenience. It's convenient for you because, oh, you know what to do. Yeah, but I don't want to do it. But you had to because you had to help me. I'm like, sometimes I just don't want to do it. So what people don't understand is that I like doing what I do because I feel like I'm doing something with my time and my energy. And the time that I have on this earth, I feel, I want to do as much as I can. When I can, as soon as I, get up. And that's not like in the morning, but when I just get up, period. When I'm awake, I can do a lot of stuff, or I can do nothing at all. That depends on me. I'm stressed out a lot. And usually, I'm not usually like this with my work, but usually I'm typing more and talking less. But I feel in this day and age, or rather right now at this point that I'm doing this, I might as well say what's on my mind. And usually this time is now because, like I said, this is usually my time for me to air out my thoughts. And when I air out my thoughts like this, I kind of feel better about it because that big knot in my head isn't throbbing as much. And let me tell you, that knot in my head, I didn't have it. Actually, somebody beat the living shit out of me, and it's been there ever since. It made my personality kind of jolted, and therefore, yeah, it's still there. The pain still lingers in my head, and I feel it sometimes. And usually, it becomes a pain, and that's usually stress and or tension. So you can, if you can try to understand that, it is rather difficult. So I understand where Big's coming from and him trying to deal with stress. I'm trying to deal with stress too, and some of the things that I do kind of, takes my mind away from the stress. If I talk about what's bothering me, I don't expect somebody to understand. But even if they do, I want them to understand that I'm not mad. It's just the way I am, you know. I'm not doing, I mean, like, say, YouTube, for example. My channel, for example. The stuff I do on my channel is not for, say, to be judged. I don't do this stuff to be judged, okay? You know, I'm sorry, but I'm not an ideal gamer. I speak my mind. Unlike not that many various people who actually do that in this day and age. They don't speak their mind, and they usually end up dead because they let the stress get to them. And on a side note, I've listened to what a lot of people say sometimes, but I have something to counteract how you can deal with stress. Just take it one day at a time. I mean, really, that's what you have to do in this lifetime. You have to take life one day at a time. Of course, there's going to be bullshit. And of course, there's going to be, you know, and of course you're going to deal with bullshit. But the thing to remember is, well, bullshit's going to happen regardless. Stress is going to happen regardless because people are selfish. Some people can understand, some people can't understand. But certain people can be selfish. And it's not their fault. It's just the ego. You know, you're to service me. You're to serve me. You're to do this. You're to do that. I want this. I want that. And that's a problem that we all have to deal with because it's just that. And sadly, that's how it is. Certain people want you to do this, and, you know, depending on the situation, you have to bite the bullet. You have to deal with it. Family is a tough issue because, namely, they rely on you. They rely on you way too much in some cases, but they rely on you because they trust you. They care for you or want to use you, depending on how you see it. Or, you know, they just need some help. In this case, I don't know what it is, but, you know, that's how it's going to be. I'm like, I'm just tired. I don't know what to say, and that's how it is with me. I can't help it, but, you know, there's a lot I can say, and there's a lot I can't say. But I have to choose my words carefully. I have to say what I have to say, and, you know, feel what I have to feel at the time. If I feel angry, I'm going to let it be said. If I feel upset, I'm going to let that be said. And like I said, I don't expect people to understand what I'm doing or saying. I expect them to comprehend, to try to understand how I'm feeling and what I'm thinking about and what's going on through my brain. It's not easy dealing with the shit I've dealt with over the last couple of years. Most of them being relationship-wise. I've been hurt before. You wanna know how I deal with so much bullshit? I've been hurt before, and it's like, second nature. Yeah, you're like that because, you know, that's your nature. I'm not mad. Yeah, I would love to have I would love to have more appreciation for what I do, but hey, you can't make everyone happy, but you can try. You can try to make everyone happy, though. Although, I have to say that what I had to say and because of what I said, I couldn't stress this enough that, you know, there's some things that I had to do just to basically take my mind off the issue about what's going on in my life and what people and what people have to share what's on their minds and whatnot. I can totally understand because I do the same thing. And you know what? The only thing I would like is, you know, not to be judged so much, but then again, the only person who could judge me legitimately is God. That's the only person who can judge me. Otherwise, I could say, you know what? Fuck you. And fuck you too. That's all I can probably say. Sometimes I have the urge, I would want to get that urge just to say, hey man, fuck you, okay? And, you know, my friends, they would say, hey, no, cool it. Like, dude, you have no idea. But I'm just trying to enjoy myself. I don't need that kind of bullshit about, you know, you could do better if you did. I'm like, this is not my type of game. This is not my style. This is something totally out of my element. So if I feel out of my element, I'm going to feel it. I can deal with the kind of bullshit that I can deal with. But sometimes you can only tolerate so much until you basically snap. And I have to snap sometimes. It's just like, it's a part of me that just says, look, if you don't say it right now, it's going to happen. You're going to blow up and then shit's going to happen. So, namely, what I tried to do was try not to basically blow up so much. But let it be known, I'm not going to let somebody just demoralize me just like that. I don't care if it's in public or, you know, if it's on Skype or whatever. I'm not going to let nobody demoralize me or, you know, those I care about in public. No, fuck that. I will just basically say, look, you don't know me. So therefore, if you knew me, you would know then to not say anything shitty like that. I mean, I'm not an ace player. I'm not a star player. I'm not any of those. I'm just a gamer. I just play because, you know, it's a party game. And to me, like Borderlands is a party game. Castle Crashers is a party game. D&D is a party game. And, you know, I got plenty of games that, you know, that I could try out for a couple of friends. Only if they want to do it. If not, so be it. I just thought I'd throw it out there and, you know, try it. And that means, you know, everybody in the group. Not just certain people. Because sometimes you need to have, you know, this. But we're not going to try it just because, oh, it's popular. Oh, it's this. No, we're just going to play with it because, you know, we need something to play when we have our time together. Because we don't have hard days. And, you know, you need friends. And everybody knows no man's an island. I mean, and I'm going to quote this from a well-known movie that, I usually watch when it shows itself on cable. All men need company. I remember this line, and it's from Kroll. And the line that is really spoken in full quote The prince is saying this to the Cyclops. He says, join us. All men need company. And Cyclops says, yes, all men. So yes, all men need company. So I mean, you know, when I said about Shinjis and Phyllises, that means wallflowers. I can't stand people who are wallflowers. You have something on your mind, please say it. You know, don't just hang back and say, well, I'm not sure if this is right to say. We tell that to Ryu sometimes. I said, say what you gotta say, man. You know, she needs to know this. Say what you have to say. You know, say, oh my God. No. Just say what you have to say. Even if it doesn't make sense, you know, it's best you say what you say. God gave you the reason to, you know, speak. God gave you a mind for that one reason. And God gave you a brain for that reason too. To say what is on your mind. That's why when somebody tells you what's on your mind, that's what's happening. That's what's on your mind. And that's what's on my mind. The stuff that sits in there for like a couple of days. I basically had to, I mean, for the last couple of days, mentally, I had to just basically just formulate everything that I'm going to do and do it ahead of time and just try to like, just like that. But, you know, that's how I am. Like I said, my mind thinks faster than what I can usually say. Because a lot of things happen in my mind just like that. And usually, it's not that bad. But for those who are wondering what I'm actually doing, this is my third book I'm working on. And you know, I'm still working on this book per se. So what I'm actually doing is actually typing up what I've written so far, and it's going to take a while. So, yeah, I had plenty to say. Mentally, I feel alright. Physically, I'm recovering. That's about it. I'm trying to do the best I can in such short notice. I'm trying to make, you know, just dealing with stuff that on the offhand I get that I need to really deal with it. I have to deal with it. And, you know, that sort of thing happens. I'm going to let it be known it's going to happen. So with that, that's how I try to just find a time to actually say what I have to say, and it's usually this kind of time that I'm not really playing anything that's going to basically take my, you know, just to, for certain people, they look at the footage and don't think about what the person is saying, or otherwise they don't care for what the person is saying, and they look at, you know, they look at the footage. So I'm doing something that basically is just putting what I'm saying right there on the spot, which is just this, which is my work, my actual work, and not my LP work. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I know I've said a lot while I'm trying to work here, and my apologies if I had a lot to say, but it really was sitting on my mind, and I just had to do something while I could focus on what I can say. So with that, I'm going to put this book aside and finish my breakfast and probably make another video. But I hope that what I said really did kind of spark something. I don't know. But whatever the hell I feel like recording, well, this is the Tenkaichi of gaming, Pookie87. And I said my piece, and thank God that I did. And hopefully everybody else can hear this. So with that, until the next game that I plan to finish or play, take care, God bless, and of course, Tenkai Muso.